What's going on, everyone? It's Matthew Leva from Patriot Glove Company. Wanted to go over some things. I've been asked a handful of times, and then when I don't know if you guys saw the video from Ball Glove King, his review on our glove, which was actually, I thought, a great review because it's pretty tough to impress. So that turned out pretty good, especially when comparing the big three type thing. So I wanted to go over some things. He had mentioned some stuff about internals of gloves. And that's one thing that nobody really even knows, or if they do know, they don't talk about. So I wanted to go over some things about that stuff, as well as kind of who does what. And I know it's kind of a thing that no one wants to talk about, but it is what it is. So when it comes to our gloves, we actually pattern change. When you go to 12 and a quarter and above, you are in an outfielder's mitt. 12 inch and under, you are in an infield glove, which is a separate pattern. More of a rolled finger, shallower pocket. It's going to stretch different internals. And then I wanted to go over quickly our Japan Elite series here. And can you see this here? See how this welting is split compared to this welting is straight up and down here. When this welting is split here, and see how that is red in there, that is your palm, one-piece palm, pulled through here, pulled and stretched down and welted right here. It does a lot of cool things to the pattern. It gives you kind of that shallower pocket. It's pulled tight, depending on how tight it's pulled during manufacturing. So, that being said, that's your one major change. It changes the entire outlook of the glove. It changes the pattern, changes everything. Keeps those fingers a little bit straighter. You're pulled back. Anyways, so internals. Internals are huge in the baseball glove industry. What you're using. We are using the same as the top name brands. It's a 3M felt inside of a baseball glove. You have felt, two different pieces of felt, hard plastic insert, and felt. So on our infield model, we go 3 millimeter soft, 3 millimeter hard with hard plastic in between. 3 millimeter soft, 3 millimeter hard plastic in between. Standard stiffness comes 5 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 5 millimeter. Now Pro Stiff, 7 millimeter, 7 millimeter, 7 millimeter. And runs to a 5 in the heel as opposed to standard is 3. So the leather's not different from a Pro Stiff to a standard stiff. That's how your stiffness works. And then for your outfield, we run the same thickness. We run hard, the sandwich here, hard, instead of soft, hard. Everything else is pretty much the same. Run a 6 into the fingers instead of a 5. Longer glove, you want it to stay less pliable for, getting reached out there. But yeah, so internals, 3M felt, it's not a big secret. Some people try and cut corners. That's fine. They can do that. We do not. We're running top quality felt. We're running not kind of the same felt. It's the same felt as the big three in their higher end gloves. In their lower end gloves is not that way, but in higher end gloves. I wanted to go over some things people ask about leather. What is the difference in leather? Now, without knocking on anybody or putting anybody else up, there's a massive difference, especially geographically. When you're importing leather from Japan, you're getting not only the best leather, but the best handling of the leather. They're very, very proud of their leather. Also, here in the United States, we're proud of a lot of things. So when importing leather, if you're getting leather out of Japan, good leather, especially, and then you've got your steer hide, your cow hides, your steer hides, your kip leathers, kind of the 3 tiers. Cowhide for children, on the shelf at Dick's Sporting Goods, your low-end gloves, $60 to $80. It works for kids. Anything above that, no good. Steer hide is a good middle-of-the-road leather. It's a good leather. It's not a great leather. And that's your A2000s and stuff like that. Weight is a massive deal, which is why a lot of people choose kip leather, especially Japanese kip leather. Kip is calf. Comes out of calves, little babies. People don't like to hear that. Part of life. We went on a spree and weighed a bunch of gloves. Weight, especially at the competitive top tier level, has a lot to do with it. When anything made in Mexico does not have kip leather. Mexico does not harvest really any calves. So, and importing any leather into Mexico is virtually impossible. So when you're buying anything made in Mexico, you've got to look out. Perfect example, and this is not a knock, this is factual evidence. And disclaimer, because one glove is weighed, could be different across gloves, but all the weights we got were across a 11.5-inch glove, infield model, across the board. Tiger, Mexican brand, they claim kip leather, 687 grams. HRX, 667 grams. Jovalt, 664 grams. Soto, 661 grams. Those are all 660 to 690. So those are all made in Mexico. Then you take an Academa, 602 grams. Gloveworks, 594 grams. A Wilson A2000, 588 grams. A 44, 561 grams. This, as you can tell, we're going from the heaviest of gloves down to the lightest in the same model. 44 is at 561. And that's getting pretty light. Wilson A2K, 541. 20 grams lighter. Patriot Glove Company, 525 grams. To put it, I'm sorry, we missed Pro Preferred. We measured a couple of Pro Preferreds. They were 524 to 528, which is exactly what we are. Leather comes from the same place. Our catcher's mitts, to put into perspective of some of the heavier gloves, our catcher's mitt comes in at a 673 grams. 673 grams for a 33.5-inch catcher's mitt. And that's right in the middle of all the 11.5s made in Mexico, to put into perspective. That's not a knock, that's just the way weight works. Real thick leather. Some people like super thick leather. The lion's share of people do not want, just anything big and bulky. So as far as that goes, now back to internals, what people talk about and had been mentioned is internals. There's ways we can cut corner and we can get a glove down cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell you why. When you buy a lot of gloves and you look at your palm liner, and your palm liner is a sheepskin or a cowhide or this or that, it's a filler. It's a way to manufacture cheap and sell cheaper while still turning a better profit. Our gloves are stock, all of our baseball gloves. What you get on the outside, you get on the inside. We are 100% genuine. Some companies you have to pay $15 or $25 extra to get this. You're getting this stock. This leather is the same as this leather is the same as this leather. There is no difference, okay? No difference all the way around. You want to look at your finger stalls. You want to look at your internals. One thing that a couple people have mentioned, which we changed because people have asked about it, was, man, it'd be nice to have some sort of luxurious fingers, or, you know, so pinky right here, this tightens what's called your pinky stirrup. Here's your thumb stirrup, okay? It's a stirrup that holds your thumb, holds your pinky. What we did was change all of our gloves, come stock, this is not an option, with a beautiful, I don't know if you can see it, luxurious stirrup inside. It's a stirrup liner inside the finger stirrup. So if you peel this back, you've got your finger stirrup. This is a beautiful, luxurious liner inside the finger stirrup. It's like putting your hand on a cloud, built for comfort. We had some feedback, some people who said it would be nice to see that, so we came through. All of our stock gloves, all of our custom gloves, every glove comes with this now. So yeah, there's some companies that say, oh, sheepskin, we offer a sheepskin liner, trying to convince you that that's what, it's just the fact that it's cheaper to install, much cheaper to put in, while simultaneously making you think you're getting something better. It is not better. Yeah, so as far as that goes, that was weight, that was this, that was that. Yeah, and leather memory, the quality of leather you have, truly matters. As far as leather memory as well, you start getting into the cow hides, even into some of the steer hides, they have less memory. They're super grainy. They've got a lot of grain. When you look at leather, you see grain. But when you look at a genuine kip leather, top quality kip leather, the younger you can harvest, the less, I don't know if you can see this, the less grain you will have. Makes for a tighter leather, super tight grain, which is why they're so stiff when you get them, but they break in soft and supple. When you get into the steer hides, and especially in the cow hides, when they start, that grain starts separating, you turn into a floppy, jello-y mess that just falls over. And that's why leather matters. Just some things that I had been asked about, and I keep explaining to people, which is fine. But I figured if I put a YouTube video out, it would, a lot of people can go to it for reference. But yeah, so none of this was a knock, a pro or a con, just factual stuff that we wanted to go over. I was asked to go over. So perfect. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email us, call us, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Thanks, guys.